Howdy, my name's Marina, and this is video number 1 for my CSCE 111 YouTube assignment. This video is going to go over my favorite topic, if statements. This was the easiest concept for me to understand in the beginning of my programming journey, back when I learned my first programming language. So I'm going to explain if statements at their most basic level to make sure we both understand the concept, and then I'm going to demonstrate the use of if statements on Java using Visual Studio Code. So first of all, if statements are these statements that are used if you want something to happen given a certain condition is true. So for this example, we're going to be using grocery stores. So let's say you really want apples. You're just craving them. And you go to the grocery store. Well, if there are apples, then you're going to buy them. So the condition is there being apples. If there are apples, then you're going to buy them. So this would be our condition, and this would be the action that is taken if that was true. Now, if that weren't true, then you would do something else. Dare I say, you would just leave. So if that was false, then leave. But let's say you want to add something else to that. Let's say, okay, there are no apples, but if there are bananas, then you'll buy bananas. Perfect. Very simple. But that only happens if there are no apples. If there are no apples, then you check if there are bananas. And then if there are bananas, then you'll buy bananas. So there being bananas is your other condition. And then buying the bananas would be the action that would be taken. But let's say there are no apples and no bananas, and you don't like any of these other things. So what do you do then? You would just leave. If there were no apples and no bananas, this statement in this case, was true, then you would leave. Be sad like her. All right, so seems simple enough. Let's see how this would work in Java. Okay, so this is a file I created called if statements, um, where I'm going to demonstrate how to use if statements. So I just started off as any sane person would, um, and then here I declared some variables. We have our apples and bananas. These just tell us how many apples and bananas are at the grocery store. And then we have our cart, our shopping cart, which right now is completely empty. We don't even have 0 in there. Like it's just declared. So let's go ahead and write our if statement. So to write an if statement, you're just going to write the word if, and then you're going to have these parentheses, and this is where your condition is going to be written in. And then right next to that, you're going to have your curly bracket, and then in the curly bracket is where you're going to write your action if you have an action. So our condition today is going to be if there's at least 1 apple, so greater than or equal to 1. So if there's at least 1 apple, then we're going to do something. We're going to add an apple to the cart. Now, I do just want to have a disclaimer. Um, this is not going to take anything away from this because this is just a simple code and I'm not doing all that. Oh wait, or I can just do apples. Is it minus equals 1? Is that allowed? Oh, okay, yeah, I think that works. Okay, yeah, we'll take that out. Um, Slay. Now, um, so that works. At least it should work. So, no, it should not work. It would not work because if we just print out our cart, say produce in cart, oop, we're going to have this error sign because cart is not initialized. Now, what we can do is we can just initialize it here, but then that would be pointless because then what would we need an else statement for? So I'm going to show you guys our else. So if this were false, then we would go straight down to here. Now, an else statement alone does not need a condition because that's just like the last resort of this like whole if thing. So we just need the curly brackets. So if there are no apples, then cart is going to equal 0. And then that gets rid of the error we have there. But Marina, what about the bananas? My goodness, that's a great question. Oh, that's from the last times I did it. Anyways, it's a great question. That is what else if comes in. So clearly, like I said earlier in that example, if there aren't any apples, we don't want to leave empty-handed. We can go for some bananas instead. So else if this already assumes that the first statement is false, so we don't need to say apples is 0 or whatever. So we can go straight to the bananas. Okay, so bananas is also greater than or equal to 1. There we go. Then our condition is going to be cart equals 1. And bananas minus equals 1 as well. There we go. Um, hater for real. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and change this to 2. Um, just so that we can differentiate the two when we print this out. So if we print this out right now, let me just go this. If we run this code, it's gonna read top to bottom. So if this is true, it's just going to do this. It's not going to do anything else because this is true. So if we run it right now, you'll notice that, yep, there we go. Produce in cart is 2. That's because we bought 2 apples. But let's say there weren't any apples. Change that to 0. And then we run it again. It should say produce in cart 1 because this was false. So it went to the next best thing, else if. It read this statement was true. So it executed what's in here. And then ignored that because, well, this was true. Why do the next thing? So that's why there's one thing in our cart because we bought one thing of bananas. But let's say both of these are false. Let's go ahead and run that. Produce in cart 0. We left empty-handed. There we go. So that's pretty much how it works. Um, hope you enjoyed. Tee